Kal Hala Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shah by Shem Rachakodash Yahweh, being the true name of the Father, as the world ignorantly calls God. Yahweh Shah, being the true name of the Son, as the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, along with the Holy Spirit, who taught me this truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect, and to the brothers that's pushing this truth in sincerity, risking life and freedom to do so. And shalom to the brothers and sisters that are listening and learning. This is your brother Labah, coming to you with another lesson in truth. And let's get straight into this lesson. The name of this lesson is going to be entitled Assembly Line Black Culture, right? And it's pertaining to the other tribes as well, right? Assembly line black culture, right? Which black means something void of light, negative, wicked, evil, demonic, right? Sin, sinister, you know what I'm saying? But let's get into this movie. They Clone Tyrone. And I recommend you brothers and you sisters go check this movie out. It's a pretty good movie. It got some spiritual scenes to it. But the the movie was dealing with, I ain't gonna give the movie away, but it was dealing with three main characters. One was a prostitute, one was a pimp, and one was a drug dealer, right? And Jamie Foxx played the pimp, and this other guy played the drug dealer, and the old girl played the prostitute, right? But the spiritual undertone to this movie was all in the movie, right? So I advise you to go check that out. But They Clone Tyrone. This concept is really real, though. Like, what do I mean with this? So let me go here. So Babylon, America has enchanted our people with this degenerate so-called black culture, and it covered different genres, right? So this is a part of the witchcraft of this place, the sorcery, right? The social engineering. I'm gonna get into that definition. All right, and mind programming, or this so-called white man with his entertainment, right? His media, his movies, his cinema, his books, so on and so forth. And this black, so-called black culture is death, right? It leads to reckless eating, right? Idolatry, celebration of holidays, right? The so-called shit show called the Black Christian Church, right? The name Jesus in that image, right? Cesare Borgia, the crack era, the fake leaders of the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American, BET, right? That BET is the social engineering and the programming, right? Failed school systems, fake education. These rappers are witches and warlocks. Drill music, thug culture, finesses, scammers, promotes drug selling and usage, murder, death, robbing, sex, adultery, sin, ratchet women, hood rats, women empowerment, cigarettes, weed heads, pork foods, franken foods, chemical-based GMO babies, baby mama, sagging pants, and so on and so forth. This is so-called black culture, right? Isaiah 47:12. It says, stand down with thine enchantments. So one of these enchantments that the so-called white man utilizes is using these celebrities, these rappers, these entertainers to enchant our people to live a debaucherous life, to be a degenerate, to be a finesser, to be a scammer, to be a stripper, right? To be a whore, a harlot, right? And the men to be drug dealers, right? Shoot 'em up boys, gang bangers, right? Vanity, worship money, cars, and women, right? So on and so forth. It's a grocery list. But these rappers are set up by the so-called white man to enchant our people, to want these things and to live out this lifestyle that they claim to be living. And a lot of these rappers don't go through none of the stuff that the regular Jakes go through. They've sold out to the so-called white man. And you notice it's been a constant uptick of these so-called women rappers to enchant our women, to make them dress provocative, to make them be scammers, to make them be finesses, right? To make them go out there and commit adultery, right? For Isaiah 47:12, it says, stand now with thine enchantments. It's talking about America. And with the multitude of thy sorceries, many different spells, enchantments, done in many different ways, right? And it has socially engineered our people in the mind, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so thou mayest prevail. So going back into this movie, they cloned Tyrone, right? This was the two main characters, I mean the three, Salakia. And this is the pretty much the product that the so-called white man has socially engineered our people to live like. You know, you got one a harlot, one so-called pimp, right? And one a so-called drug dealer, right? And it goes on and on and on. All right. So this so-called black culture covered many different genres. You got stick-up kids, you got gang banging, right? You got so on and so forth. Let's go to this word clone. But when these, celebrities and these rappers, when they push these particular artists or whatever you want to call them, rappers, they're pushing out of witchcraft, a spell to make our people want to be like these so-called celebrities, make them idolize these so-called celebrities, these rappers. Idol, right? Idol is one of the first commandments not to do, right? To make them wreck their lives, to make them do drugs, make them sell drugs, make them go kill, murder. They actually do chants in these songs, right? They had a Bone Thugs harmony in song that said more murder, right? You got most of these rappers now encouraging Jake to go do some wickedness, to go kill, steal, lie, murder, kidnap, you name it. Sell drugs. Let's go to this word clone. Right? So let me go to the very top. I was looking for one particular definition. Right? Right here, clone at the very top. It says a person or a thing that duplicates. A person or a thing that duplicates. So these barrios and these ghettos and these projects, so on and so forth, are filled with the same kind of degenerate jakes, right? Drug dealers, all right? Shoot 'em up kids, kill boys. They actually got something called the kill boys, right? And so on and so forth. The madness is endless, right? But this was all a plot in the scheme to socially engineer our people to be this way. And that's why you have a failed society and this so-called black culture. All right, they can't even stop calling themselves black, Hispanic, and Native American. That's how strong the enchantment is, right? It ain't nothing to play with. It says social engineering. So this started when you came out the womb. At the very top, number one, it says the use of centralized planning. I'm gonna read that again. The use of centralized planning in an attempt to manage social change and regulate the future development and behavior of a society. That's heavy. So the so-called white man set these rappers up, right? Because we don't own any record companies, right? We don't, Jake is on the bottom, all right? Where are they getting funding from? These record labels, which are ran by so-called white men to keep our people in a perpetual state of sin and push wickedness to the highest level. A lot of these artists be demonic in the videos. They got spirits, they got lean, they got smoking weed, they got all kind of debauchery going on in these videos, right? The lyrics enchanting Jake and the women to go do wickedness. Let's go here. And it's this assembly line, all right, so-called black culture, and it covers different genres, right? It says assembly line. It says a series of workers and machines in a factory by which a succession of identical items. So this same type of degenerate jakes are pushed out of society. What it might be your Christian pastor, right? You got a multitude of those, right? They coming out talking about the same so-called white Jesus. You had these rappers talking about the same different things. It's like they cloned, right? It's just a duplicate of the same thing. You go in a lot of these neighborhoods, you see Jake carrying themselves the same way, pants off their ass, full of weed, right? It's a clone. It's the same thing been done all over. And they can't see the different enchantments, right? They don't have the spirit to see that, right? So this is a assembly line, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American culture. Let's go here. But these devils have set all this up to snare you, to trap you, to keep you confused, to keep you lost, to keep you off track, to keep you off the rockers. Psalms 37:12. It says, the wicked plotted. Who is the wicked? The so-called white man. Plot. What's plot mean? Scheme. Meet in secret, right? Make plans against the just. Who is the just? The righteous seed is the nation of Israel. You so-called Blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans. You completely have bugged out, and Babylon has turned you out like a $2 whore, right? And gnash upon him with his teeth, right? Right. So this devil's got different weapons, and one of these weapons is social engineering, right? And they push out these certain rappers, these certain celebrities to put an enchantment on our people to make them want to be like them and copy their behavior, right? There's no coincidence that there's been an uptick of these so-called women rappers. They want to turn the women completely out, right? And our women have wrecked themselves, right? Because they've been under this deep spell and enchantment and they can't see it. That's the reason why they got their long nails. They got the different color weaves, right? Them weaves got spirits in them, right? And the debauchery and the shit they talk about is just really, you can't repeat a lot of this stuff. And these women are full of demons, unclean spirits, right? To seduce our women, right? You see it? Look, the symbolism, the all seeing eye. They do blood rituals, go on and so forth. The black and white, right to the right, the foul lyrics, the just the debauchery, man. But everything coming out because at the end, this is it. You know, Jake, monkey-minded, mind can't handle too much. It's like, let me go back here. Let me go to this next precept. But this all been set up to ensnare you with the Christian church. You got the rappers. You got everything here has been set up as a booby trap, right? To trap your mind. Habakkuk 2:15. Let me go here. KJB. Want unto him that giveth his neighbor drink. So the so-called white man, what this can apply to is he has set our people up for failure. He put crack in our community. He pushed the rappers, right? He pushed us the worst foods, right? So on and so forth. You go down the endless list that put us the bottle to him, right? So it has set Jake up for failure. They put them in these ghettos. They purposely made the so-called, elevated the so-called black woman over the so-called black man and Hispanic and Native American, right? They put the drugs in our community. They created no opportunities for us. They bombed our cities. You know, when we did build some up, they bombed it, right? You go on, it's endless. It makes him drunk, and also that thou mayest look upon their nakedness. So basically, when Jake go out there and commit these crimes, you say the so-called white man applies to his face on the 5 o'clock news like he's the worst piece of shit in the world. But yet this devil go and steal lands from different countries, right? Bomb babies, feed little babies to alligators, and he's down looked at it as the devil he is, right? Going to this whole production line of these Jakes that's in these neighborhoods and running around through the earth in different genres of them. They've been socially engineered to be this way, right? By the so-called white man. Hopefully this lesson was edifying. Call Hala Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakak Wadash. Shalom.